Riley is back. Welcome back to the show, Riley.
It's good to be back. Guess it's been 30 episodes, almost a year, right?
Yeah, I think our first episode that we filmed was it in February?
I think it was March, April time, maybe?
Yeah.
We released them in April. I think we recorded in March.
Okay, close to a year.
Close to a year. Yeah.
Hard to do it when you live so far away.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here with us. It's been a lonely road without you.
I flew out just for the occasion.
Yeah, I wish you'd leave.
Welcome back to Real Legends Podcast. I'm Bo.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Riley.
And tonight's episode is Arrival, a movie by Denis Villeneuve. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Something like that. It's French.
Yeah, it's French. The French in the board game. What's that board game called?
Tortuga?
Tortuga. I am the most French one here.
Oui, oui. Denis Villeneuve. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a long time coming episode because Riley has been wanting to watch this since the very first episode, which we ended up randomly doing Tombstone, which is kind of an odd story because Val Kilmer passed away around that same time. And so it ended up being an interesting time to record and release that episode because a lot of people were talking about Tombstone and his career and his portrayal of Doc Holliday. But we're circling to Arrival at the request and bidding and pleading of Riley. No, he likes this movie, and Dan and I had both seen it once. Is that right, Dan?
Yeah.
And I just remember not really caring for it. But I have some different thoughts this time around, so I'm excited to get into our spoiler-free thoughts. Before we jump into that, Dan, anything on the news front for movies or media that you'd want to share?
I think I mentioned this last time, but Avengers is making another movie.
What's this one?
It's called Doomsday.
Oh, RDJ's making a comeback there, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's going to be.
Gosh, man, can we just kill somebody and have him be dead?
I think he's playing Doomsday. At least that's the word on
it's
the street.
Like alternate universe, supposedly, I think, right? Where it's like, oh, in this universe, Tony Stark becomes Doomsday.
I'm so sick of just
Doomsman.
repeats, so I don't even want to get into it.
Yeah,
Whatever. I've said my piece on recreations plenty of times.
Let
I'm
it
not going to
die.
recreate another take for it.
Yep, I hear you. Well, we've got some exciting things coming this year. We've got the Odyssey. We've got Dune Messiah, right? It's coming this year.
Lord of the Rings is being re-released. I'm
Really?
excited for that.
Yeah.
For the 25th anniversary, they're going to put the extended editions into theaters.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might just have to go hit that up, huh? Riley, any news from you that you want to update the fan base about, since they've been
They're dying
pleading
to
to hear about you and
They're dying
any
to know.
movie news or media news you want to share?
I honestly haven't watched very many movies this year. It's been really busy. This is like the first movie. Oh, this is the first movie I watched this year, 2026. But 2025, I didn't watch very many movies. I don't think I watched hardly any new movies for that matter. The only new one I watched was Superman, which was a little bit of a bust. But
yeah,
we didn't watch that today.
Yeah, Superman, nothing to report there. CGI slop.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's get into our spoiler-free thoughts. Since Riley, you're the guest, I want to give it to you first and hear what you have to say about the movie.
Yeah. So I watched this movie for the first time, I think in 2019, maybe, 2019, 2018, around then. And I actually shared the same thoughts with you guys. I got out of the movie and I was like, not really that great. But the second time I watched it, which was with Dan a couple years later, it actually became one of my favorite movies of all time. It's probably in my top 5 movies of all time.
Wow. Nice.
But yeah, I think it's an incredible movie, incredible sci-fi. And I think what it does is it's my favorite type of alien sci-fi movie, where not only does it hold up a mirror to our own humanity, but it also begs deep philosophical questions at the end of the movie. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into those.
Nerd.
I was feeling a little bit at the end of the movie, some feels, and kind of commented over to Riley, like, Riley, you big softy, as the credits were rolling. You got me. You son of a gun, you got me. Or I should say Denny got me.
But yeah, he did a good job there.
All right, Dan, take us away. Any spoiler-free thoughts?
Well, the first time I watched this movie, I thought it was really lame. I was really disappointed in it. But going into it this time with better expectations, I think that it's a much better film. I liked it this time. I really did.
Yeah, I can say the same. I enjoyed myself very well this time. I noticed pretty much immediately. I know we don't usually get into too much of like the cinematography and things, but this movie's lit very interestingly throughout the whole movie. The lighting is most of the time very soft and one directional. Even when like we're in her home, they're just using the light from the windows. There's no house lights on in her kitchen or her front room. And it gives it a look that sets it apart from a lot of other movies because it's just, for me, it was just very noticeable in an attractive way. I liked it. It worked for me. More thoughts on that as maybe we get into spoilers and the story of the movie. But looked great locations, good acting.
Yeah, beautiful sets.
That opening scene,
oh my gosh,
when you see the spaceship for the first time
in Montana,
the clouds are coming over the hill.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh,
so beautiful,
so pretty.
Yeah, that is amazing. I was wondering the whole time. I was like, were they able to capture this in Montana and then just place the ship in the shot? And I'm hoping they did. I'm hoping that's a real shot, and I'd love to look into it. But it's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, any other thoughts or spoiler-free things before we jump into our spoiler review?
I want to spoil it.
Dan's always excited to get into spoilers.
The music. I love the music. The song that's at the very beginning and the very end of the movie. It's called "The On Nature of Daylight." It's actually one of my favorite songs of all time as well. I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful performance. But go listen to it. It's a good one.
I concur. It's a good song. I liked it.
It's kind of thematic too. That what is at the beginning is at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just like Hannah, beginning at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big brain guy.
Palindrome music.
I just call it circle.
Yeah.
Just kidding. All right, we're getting into spoilers now. Who wants to take us away first? Is anyone excited just to let it rip? Dan, you want to go first this time?
I had a few questions about the kind of end, but I want to get to that later. I think maybe the first time I watched this movie, I wasn't paying enough attention to the dialogue in the first 20 minutes because it actually sets it up pretty well that it's going to be a movie about language and a movie about not aliens that want to kill us.
Yeah, you went into it the first time thinking it was going to be Independence Day,
totally
lasers.
Yeah, I think I wasn't super paying attention because, like, if I was listening really intently this time, and when they land in the base for the first time, and they're talking about, we've already had people go in there, they've gotten sick, nothing is working, they're communicating with us, but it's not working. I must have just missed that part because the first time they went up to see them, I was like, yes, we're gonna fight.
Yeah,
right.
No,
not at all.
Not that kind of movie.
No, but then going up the second time, I actually paid attention, and they're like, oh, they're totally talking about failed efforts to communicate, but that they are communicating.
Mm-hmm.
And so going into it this time being like, okay, they're not going to fight. This isn't a crazy sci-fi where things are going to blow up. It's all about trying to figure out the communication of the aliens. Going into it with that perspective made the movie so much better.
I completely agree. That was my same perception. I don't know what I was really expecting the first time, but, typically aliens come to Earth, more chaos, more gunshots.
There's going to be a lot of explosions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
and alien guts.
Or at least more, well, there's some tension in this movie, but yeah.
But like the music that's playing when they're going up, it's super intense. She looks terrified, and it's just like all this build, just so they can have language arts is like, wow, great.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension in that music and the sound design.
Yeah.
It kind of reminiscent, like if you look into his other movies, like Dune, you get some of those like big bassy noises.
Mm-hmm.
Did he direct Dune as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I definitely want to get to what you said about questions at the end. I want to hear your questions you have, because I have some thoughts too about the husband, Ian. Sorry, that's spoiler. Well, yeah, we're in spoilers. Yeah, Ian. And just some thoughts about that I want to discuss with both of you. before we get to that, Riley, do you want to take us away with anything else, spoilerly, as we just go through the story a bit? We won't go through beat for beat, but we'll kind of just give a...
Yeah, I really like the beginning of this movie, the way that it's set up. Like I was saying, I watched this before COVID, and then I watched it after COVID. And one thing that I actually was kind of eerie the second time that I watched it, because COVID was like fresh on my mind and fresh on everybody's mind.
Sure.
Was like Louise goes back to her school after there's like a countrywide shutdown, and the school is empty. The hallways are empty. Her classroom is empty. And then as she's going back to her house at the initial announcement of the aliens, like everything seems a little bit too calm and too collected.
Yeah.
And like, that's kind of like, at first it's kind of like, well, that doesn't make sense. Aliens have invaded the Earth. But now if I like let it ruminate a little bit, it's like, well, yeah, everyone's afraid. No one really knows what to do.
Sure.
And the real chaos doesn't hit until the day after everyone's taken, a nap. And they go, hey, you know what? This is a great opportunity to go bust some, bust open some grocery stores and steal TVs and food and stuff. So
right.
I really liked that. And like just that tension at the very beginning of the unknown of what's going to happen because of this, I felt that like that was very real. And like that's kind of what it would look like in this case. Because the aliens didn't come guns a-blazing. They just
show up.
Yeah. That's it.
I see where you're coming from. I feel like my perspective is, I think thematically it works well. Like showing that emptiness and that kind of fright and like unknown. But my other part of my brain was like, people would be running out at school and panicking and doing a lot more like,
more hysteria.
What would you say, like
hysteria.
Caveman thinking, right? Rather than like, I guess we all just go home. But like I want to give credit where credit's due. I think thematically it really sets up this kind of, I don't know if I would use the word eerie, but somber and mysterious tone for the movie, where it's like, aliens are here, and this is not what anyone expected, and no one's really behaving in a way that I expected either.
Oh yeah, I didn't think anyone was going to be stealing toilet paper. There was going to be a mass toilet paper shortage during COVID.
That's a good point.
Right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, so aliens arrive. They recruit Miss Louise for her language skills to try to help the U.S. government communicate with them. And we meet Jeremy Renner, Ian, and he is a scientist of mathematics.
He's a physicist.
Yeah, and they're going to team up and try to communicate with the aliens, figure out what the heck they want. And that gives us, that jumps us into the story of pretty much this whole movie. With the exception of, we haven't really touched on, the movie starts with this woman being a mom, right? Am I right? Does it start with her being a mom?
It starts with her being a mom.
It starts with the dialogue with the opening, saying that time doesn't mean what it used to, and then it cuts to her as a mom.
Yeah. And so the whole time, even though I'd seen this before, I was thinking, oh yeah, she's a mom now. Her daughter's already died, and now she's getting pulled into this alien thing. But as the movie goes on, we'll get to, that's not exactly the case.
I think the communication is really cool. Like, they think it's the sound, so they're focusing on the sounds for a while. Nothing goes anywhere. It's a total flop. Louise is really cool. She's like extremely competent and extremely capable, and you care about her the whole time. And she finally figures out to like write something, and they see the weird ink, and you're just like, what on earth? How are they going to figure that out? And watching them make the process of like giving different words to the different like symbols is very cool.
Yeah.
How the computer program can like map individual little inflections in the ink to kind of see what they're communicating is very cool. And then finally watching them progress, and like she puts the hand up and they're able to communicate more. That whole process is really, really cool. I think one of my gripes though with that is that I think that they build up so much suspense at the beginning for it to be something that's kind of crazy, just to have it kind of turn into that. I don't know if it really worked for me that well. Like, I actually love the language arts part. It's very cool, but I feel like I don't know. They made it seem a lot more intense and scary than what it actually was.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think about that when they're going up into the ship for the first time and how she's very like panicked and like shaking and scared, and the tension there with the music and how everything is very foreign. And I for me, I think it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it'd be a pretty intimidating situation to be in a situation where you don't understand anything. You don't understand their technology. You don't understand their language. You don't understand if they're going to shoot you, eat you, turn off the air in the ship, eject you out of the ship. So like I feel like,
or many more worse things
yeah,
that aliens can do.
Flay you alive.
Yeah.
implant something through your mouth and then it hatch out of your chest.
Right.
That's never happened to me.
Never happened through the mouth.
Son of a gun.
The alien probe joke
On the Sabbath.
Yeah, but I think it works for me. I think because, yeah, it's just everything's so new and foreign that, like, there would be a lot of, I guess, intenseness for me going into that situation. But I agree. The language arts stuff's cool. They make her and her understanding of language and communication very appealing, actually, to where she understands, like, hey, you think it's easy because you and I talk, but there's so much more to think about with communication, learning a new language or communicating with someone who has had no contact with your civilization.
Especially in alien language. Do they know what a question is? Do they know what I am? Do they know what you are?
Right, or if they even think that way to begin with, right? Do they have intent?
Yeah.
Or do they just act on pure impulse?
Yeah, really
don't know.
Super fascinating questions. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and as the story progresses, Luis and Ian are able to start kind of gleaning some information through imagery and their kind of form of writing. Jump in, boys, if you want to say anything. But then there's other people that are impatient and pushing back, which I thought was very real. There's that, like, kind of the black hair kind of guy, not the black guy, but like who she doesn't like because he's always like saying, no, this is how it is. You're wrong and we can't do this. And he's always pushing back. I felt like that rings true to life. Yeah. Like when there was a point when they have the bomb, these soldiers that are getting spooked, like, hey, if we don't kind of do something, because you asked the question, I want to hear your thoughts about this question you had. Like, why are they trying to blow it up? Like, what are they doing? Yeah. What did you mean by that?
I thought that it was like the government officials trying to blow it up. Oh, it turns out it was just a couple rogue agents.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I understood, like, they were just radicalized by that crazy radio talk guy.
By that podcast guy.
Yeah, I've never had a podcast talking about politics, ever.
You've definitely never told anyone that they need to be shot.
Yes, that's true. I have not.
But yeah, that part with the bomb and them going rogue, it made me think of, you remember how you proposed those situational questions of like, hey, if you were with 14 other people in the wilderness and you guys crashed and you had this supplies, what would you keep and what would you do? Mm-hmm. And part of my response to you after I gave you my answer was like, this is why I don't like, it's hard to work with people in like intense or life-threatening situations because some people will act out and do something radical. Yeah. Like put a bomb on an alien ship. And for me, like, I'm very leery of that. I'm very leery of having to be thrown into a situation with a group of strangers and it be working out peacefully where someone doesn't pull a stunt like that. Mm.
Well, I also I like the idea of the motivation behind the rogue soldier. This is kind of what I was talking about with how this movie holds up a mirror towards our own humanity. And like, if you're walking out on the street and you have, if you're talking with just random people face to face, I'd say 99% of the time you're going to have good communication and things aren't going to get heated. But what the soldiers were doing is they were watching the news, they were watching podcasts, they were consuming all this kinds of media. And, well, the media's design is to get clicks and to get reactions. And I just think that's so real today. Like, if you look online today, like, there's so much miscommunication, which is the point of the movie, right? is to learn how to communicate with our fellow humans, not with aliens. There's so much miscommunication that's a product of that screen that's in front of us. So
you think the purpose of the movie is for us to communicate with each other?
I think that's one of the purposes, yeah.
Explain more, like, why you think that.
Well, I mean, pardon my French, but everything was about, like, shit was about to hit the fan
right
as soon as all the countries went down and they were no longer, like, speaking with one another.
Mm-hmm.
That's when war happens, you know,
right.
Is when there is no longer a dialogue. There is no longer a story that is being told. There's no longer a face-to-face communication. And, like, that's why there's so much hate on social media. It's because you're not actually talking to the person, looking them in the eyes.
I agree with that, but I don't know if that's really, like... I don't know if this movie says that clearly, because they just show up.
What, the aliens?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about the humans.
Right, but I'm saying if the goal of the aliens was to get humans to communicate with each other better, they did not do a good job.
Oh, they did at the end.
Well, at the very end, because they gave her, like, time travel.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. This is where like the question that I have with the movie is, like, because they give her the ability, right, to see into the future.
I don't know if I would use give her the ability.
Like, give her the gift, right?
Learning the language is
what opens it up.
Is what opens it up.
But they also give her something, though. Like, she learns it, but then also there's that scene where, like, the ink is, like, transferred to her, and she's also inside, like, the cloudy space, and, like, ink is given to her then as well. Like, they give her the ability to see present, past, future all at the same time.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, because they talked at the beginning, near the middle of the movie, Ian talks to Luis about a theory where the way that you think is dictated by what language you speak.
Sure.
Right.
I've spoken another language. I can, testify that personally, that, like, the way that I am when I speak this different language is actually different than the way that I am when I speak English.
Right.
So a product, this is the way I interpreted it. The product of learning this language, it actually changes the chemistry of your brain to where you are able to remember things from the future.
So what's the point of her getting the ink and the cloud scene where she gets more ink? And
well, they brought her up there,
right,
to, like, tell her the secret to the weapon or the gift. That was the whole point.
Which was the language they gave them.
And her touching the ink was sort of like a visual representation of her understanding the language.
Okay, fair enough. So she's got the language down. But if the aliens hadn't showed up, there would not have been this insane fight. Because the conflict that's resolved literally is just that the Chinese are not going to blow up the ship that wasn't there before.
Right.
Okay. Chinese were not antagonized until the ship came.
I think I might have your answer here. So they say they need humanity. They're going to need humanity in 3,000 years.
That was my question.
Right. So I think what the point is even though we don't get to, and I would love to talk about what they need from humanity in the future, but you guys have opened up my mind to this. They see Earth, different factions. There's no one united government, one united world, one leader. And they see, wow, we're going to need their help in 3,000 years because our language allows us to see forwards and backwards. But they're going to kill each other because they won't just communicate and come to realize that they have more in common than they have differences, and that they could all actually be working together rather than be divided.
And the way to do that is to give them this language. So we show up because they're going to kill each other if we don't, and we give this to them so they can see, oh, actually, if I can see the future and the past, then I could understand and see, like, she changes... General Chiang.
Yeah, General Chiang.
She changes his mind by communicating with him, by saying, hey, like, trust me, I even know what your mom told you, or your wife told you when she was dying. And that softens his heart and opens up his mind and be like, you know what, maybe we can work together. Does that answer
I understand that. Like, that all makes sense. Okay. But is the idea then, here's this language that you guys can now use to tell the future, so that when you're talking in the future, you can use little tidbits so that they listen to each other, kind of a thing? Because the only reason why General Chiang stops is because she knows the perfect thing to say because he tells her in the future that. Right. So the aliens are just assuming there's going to be enough scenarios where the humans, if they could just communicate with each other in 20 years, then they could be okay. Like,
they wouldn't kill each other.
Is that what it is?
That's my perception of the film.
I mean, I think that's close to what it is. Another sort of I don't know, maybe visual representation. Another thing that I just noticed as well while I was watching was when you look at General Chiang.
Ching Chong.
It's all the same.
Ping Wing.
General Orange Chicken.
When you look at
General Tao.
at the beginning of the movie, when they introduce General
Chiang.
I was gonna say Chiang. When they introduce General Chiang, it's through a screen, and you see him as a dictator. He's wearing his uniform. He has his ribbons on. He looks like a dictator.
Kind of somber face.
Yes, but then when you meet him, when Luis meets him in person, you see his eyes, and you realize this is someone that's actually looking out for the best of his country, and that's something that is lost with the communication through screens.
Yeah,
and I like, you can draw that parallel too because of how the humans communicate with the aliens. They communicate with them through this screen, and it's not perfect because he says, what's the alien's name? Costello. Costello says, display weapon, right? But that was a mistranslation. It was or use weapon. That was a mistranslation. It was supposed to be use gift. Luis didn't actually understand that until she got in the spaceship with the alien
face to face,
and they cleared up that miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think is one of the
taking off the suits.
Yeah, taking off the suits
to have that other barrier.
Yeah, less of a barrier. Yeah.
Also, that they can have time travel communication.
Are you saying also or also?
No, also that they can do that.
I don't think the time travel is. There's no intent.
Well, the gift is the time thing, right?
Yes, that's a product of them learning the language.
Right, and that's the gift. You can now look into the future, into the past. Time becomes irrelevant because you know this language.
Yeah.
And by having time irrelevant, you can solve things better. Because I like the message of talk to people face to face, but I don't see how time does that. Like, how does disbanding time make that?
I think that
because it opens up barriers of communication, right? She was never going to talk to that Chinese dictator through a screen. He was never going to talk to her or communicate. They shut down communication. But because they talked face to face in the future, they were able to break down barriers to where they could start having a real relationship, even though they had to take that back in time, right? Because they meet at the party. He's like, hey, I need to tell you this. I need to show you my number. We need to start talking face to face.
Do we believe that?
That's my take.
General Chiang also learned the language?
No,
because he goes and he says all that specific stuff to her in the future.
Yeah, and he also says, I don't claim to know how your mind works.
Right.
Yeah.
So
maybe not everyone could learn.
He didn't know how it worked, the product of it.
It seems like she's trying to teach people though in the future.
Yes. Well, I think that's what the book is. That her book is how to learn this language.
Yeah.
Right.
So that we can see each other in the future to avoid conflict.
Yeah.
Now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I guess.
And, like, if that's a great point. Like, if there was any kind of forethought before a conflict, I think that it could be avoided, right?
Right.
With any, like, let's call it a dispute in a marriage, like, if you knew that this was going to happen, that you saying this was going to set someone off, you might not say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But
if you understood the situation differently, but your perception at the time was, oh, this is happening, but really there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
And you jump into it.
Yeah, it's having a forethought of the product of your actions.
Yeah. Which is interesting because the movie touches on that too, right?
Yes.
About how she I guess ends up telling Ian, hey, our daughter's going to die of this disease, and he gets mad and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we're ready to jump into that, but that was my main question that I want to discuss with you is like, I don't like that. I don't like that he gets upset and leaves. Like, I like his character the whole movie, and then finding out that he leaves because I get it. Like, people will handle hard situations differently, death or truths differently.
Yeah, but you don't leave your wife because your kid's gonna die.
Right. That's my argument. That's my take, right? You don't leave because your wife says, "Hey, I know our daughter's gonna die of this thing." No matter how bad that hurts or things, like, you stay, right? And so, love to touch on that.
Yeah, and I think that the Ian leaving is it doesn't say how this conversation went, but I imagine that the conversation went, "Hey, Ian, our daughter's going to die in X amount of years," and Ian probably says, "How long have you known?" And she says, "Since." Since before we even had her.
Yes.
And then he could have said something like, "How could you do this to me?
Right.
She's my angel. She's, what does he call her? My star, my little star," something like that. She's my daughter. Why would
you marry me and have a kid if you knew she was going to die?
Yes. How could you do this to me? And he's in denial and rejecting the reality that being a parent and being a human is extremely difficult. And there are very, very tragic things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought
definitely plausible.
I liked that scene where she was like, she asks Ian, if you knew everything in the future, would you change anything? And he's like, I probably say what I think more often.
So I think he says I say what I feel more often.
Yeah. And so she ends up doing what he tells her to do, but he doesn't like it. I thought it was cool though, because she saw the future and she saw the joy and she saw the pain and she went for it anyways.
Yeah.
Because I think she easily could have been like, I don't want that pain. I don't want that. I'm going to go and do something else. But I think it's cool that she, regardless of the pain that she saw potentially coming, she went for it.
Yeah. And this is for me, this is my favorite message of the movie, which is like, looking into our past. Like, it begs the question, you have to ask yourself, okay, I've been in bad relationships in the past, I've made bad decisions in the past. If I could change those things, would I? And I think the answer, what the movie is saying to you is saying, no, you shouldn't want to change those things. That accepting your decisions and the product of them is
part of the human experience.
Part of the human experience and the path to like tranquility or like enlightenment, and like I said, you have to ask yourself, if I knew that this marriage that I had would lead to a beautiful daughter, but in divorce and the death of this daughter, would you still do it?
Right.
Yeah, you make a good point, because Ian does choose that other path, right? As far as like the idea of like, what did you say, tranquility or enlightenment?
Mm-hmm.
Because, Louise comes to terms with things and does it anyway, right? Even though she knows it's going to end in kind of pain, but there'll still be joy. She still does it. Kind of like Adam and Eve. But Ian, when he finds out, he doesn't like take that path of like acceptance and enlightenment with the future and the past thing. We don't get to see how, but he reacts and he leaves.
Yeah.
You guys are a bunch of hippies.
Do you feel like you're resolved with the story, or do you still feel like no?
I feel like it's just kind of I don't know. I think that they had two ideas, like where one is like, you need to talk to people and communicate better. And the other one was, let's make a movie about time travel or like time. And I feel like it's hard to mix those two and have it really work for me. I think that individually they're cool concepts, but I feel like at the end of the movie, I was like, that was cool. But I feel like, I don't know.
How did they not mix it well?
I just think that the idea that you see somebody in the future and that is like how to fix conflict is kind of lame. Like the only reason why she was able to stop it is because he came and showed her the number and gave her like the right words. And it's like, okay, well, that's nice that happened there, but who's to say that's going to happen again?
Well, it doesn't. It ends her marriage, right? She knew about the marriage and the conflict didn't get resolved there.
Yeah. The aliens, again, like the aliens think if we teach them how to communicate in the future and like have this like breadth of time experience, then they'll be able to withdraw from conflict before it gets too hairy, I guess.
It's not the
That's my interpretation.
It's not the time thing that brought them together. They came in 12 different ships, and not every human knows that, and not every human learns the language. Not every human gets this time experience. What brought humanity together was they gave 12 different messages to all the different nations, and they needed to come together and share those messages.
Right.
And like,
you can't do it separate. You have to do it together.
Yeah, it's kind of like a kumbaya, you know, like like there's many truths, and there are many grand truths in different religions, different cultures, different peoples. And we often lose that because of our own short-sightedness. I'm part of this religion, I'm part of this country, I'm part of this race. That the time thing isn't what saved humanity. It's sharing those 12 different messages. That's what saved humanity.
Well, yeah. I mean,
was it though?
Beyond sharing the messages, it's.
Because I think it's time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's beyond that, right? Because the messages are just a means to an end. The real thing is coming together and communicating, right?
Yeah.
Because we either keep doing what we're doing and we're like America, Russia, China, Middle East, just divided and hunkered down and fight, or we open borders up and communicate up and we survive as a human race. That's my take from my experience with the movie and as we've talked.
I think, again, if that was the message that you guys got, great. But I don't feel like that was what I got at all.
Okay, fair enough.
What about what we just said didn't make sense then?
Well, like, I get that that's what you guys think happened, but I don't know what dialogue would have made you believe that.
Well,
what scene made you think
there was 12 different messages.
Right.
There was miscommunication between the screens. People weren't communicating.
Right.
They only started communicating once Louise made a phone call. And sure, it was because she saw the future.
Yeah.
But she made the decision to make that phone call and say those things. Right. She didn't have to.
Right.
But she made that decision to do so.
Yeah. I think at the very minimum, like that example alone of her calling someone of a foreign country and having a conversation, that to me is a great example of the movie saying this is about breaking down walls of communication and communicating.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the movie has to work and click for everyone. So if it doesn't,
I just don't understand where the gift comes into that, because like the only reason they're not communicating is because the aliens are not communicating. Like the aliens are the one that showed up. They're the ones who said the weapon thing. Like they're stirring the pot more than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, we resolve this. It's like I walk into a room, I punch you in the face, but then I come and bring you an ice pack.
Right. So
I didn't resolve a conflict. I started one.
So would this have worked if the aliens had shown up and they had said, hey, you all need to work together?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe. I think that if that's the message they were trying to say.
Part of the movie, though, is like they don't have that ability to even come in and say that. They have the ability to come in and say what they did.
Yeah.
And humanity's got to take it.
Yeah, like they only had like 3 months to try and learn the language. That's not enough time to learn any language, regardless if it's a...
If the gift is to see time, right, for its entirety.
The gift's the language.
Right? That's the focus. Is the argument then, I will be able to communicate more effectively with whoever it is if I can then see them in the future? Is that what it's saying?
No, I don't think so. Because, like, sure, that's what Luis did, but that's not what the rest of the world did. The rest of the world started...
But Luis is the one who saved the day. We're looking at her as the example.
Yeah, we are looking at her as the example. But she didn't have any problem communicating with these people. The only reason she had a problem communicating with the Chinese...
The whole movie she was pushing, like, we need to be sharing our information, not holding it.
Yes.
The whole movie, she said that. Sharing it.
Yeah, and as the screens were coming down and people were stopped talking, she was like, no, we have to keep talking.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we stop talking, Bo's in that room... You're in this room. We all have loaded guns, you know, and I don't know what you're going to do in that room. I don't know what he's going to do in that room, so I might as well load my gun.
Prisoner's dilemma.
Yes. Yeah.
So I get that. How does the time thing factor in? Because that's the fetching gift. That's
Right.
the whole crux of the movie.
What? Be more specific with your question. I don't understand what you mean. How does the time thing work? Like
the whole reason they get together and the whole reason the aliens show up in the first place is to give them the gift.
right.
That's why they're there. This gift will solve the problems that will be in 3,000 years for the
Septipods.
Septipods.
pod boys.
Hey, what a
This
great
gift,
podcast name.
this gift will save them in 3,000 years. That gift is time, right?
Uh-huh.
How does that solve the problem?
Well, the aliens needed humanity to work together, right? Because in 3,000 years,
How does time help them work together, though?
how does time help the humans work
How
together?
does the ability help the humans work together?
It's not the time thing that helps humanity come together. It's Luis. They came there for Luis. Because she's the one who initiated the conversation. She's the one who initiated communication between countries. That's why they came there.
Was
That's
for
why-
her?
Yeah.
She's the gift.
She's not the gift. She's the reason they came. They came to give the gift to her so she could help unite humanity.
To have them not fight the aliens that came. The conflict that she resolves is the aliens being there.
Yeah, well, the aliens needed their help in the future. That's why that's another
So
reason they came.
The gift that she gets is the time thing. How will that solve their problems in 3,000 years?
It doesn't say. Go ahead, Bo.
Yeah. I think we're getting hung up on this time thing, and yeah, I think maybe there's a miscommunication, as it were. So the aliens say in the text of the movie, "We're going to need you in 3,000 years."
Sure.
So that inference is saying you're not going to be around in 3,000 years unless we step in.
Yeah.
Your issue, my understanding is, but what does the time travel have to do with that?
How does giving the time ability save humanity for 3,000 more years?
My understanding, and again, maybe I'm wrong or maybe this doesn't work for you, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but is her being able to see past just today allows her to have a way to break down a barrier with the Chinese, right?
Right.
Otherwise, even if she called him, she wouldn't know what to say, right?
Yeah.
She didn't have the time thing. And she wouldn't have the number either.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she tries to get on the computer and contact him, and it doesn't work. It's shut down.
Yeah.
Chinese shoot the
So
ships.
right. So
Things go to crap. War starts.
So the ability is, if I can see somebody in the future, if I can see what happens in the future, I'll be better able to communicate with them in the present.
That was just Luis's case.
Yeah, I think you put too much emphasis on the time thing. I think in this one instance where it helps her, yeah, it is important because there's no other way she could have reached out to the Chinese if she didn't see the future and get the number from him. So in this instance, yeah, it was a crux. It's like without the time thing, if it was just a language and it didn't have any time effect,
Right.
then it wouldn't help them
Right.
so much. Because in this instance, she had to have a way to be able to talk personally with someone that she didn't know personally.
Right.
And the reason we don't know each other personally is because we've divided tribally, nationally, culturally.
So yeah, again, I don't think that's the message at all.
Oh, you don't have to think it's the
But-
message, but that's the truth.
So-
I mean,
so-
like, that's
so
the
then-
whole premise of the movie is everyone's on the screen and we're all divided and we're saying, how much do we share with them and how much do we not share with them? And are they telling us the truth or are they just giving us part of the truth? And China's deciding to go to war. So what do we do now? Well, let's shut our system down and not share anything with them. So you can say that's not part of the story of the movie, but to me, it's
I think
on
it
the
is.
screen.
No, it is. That is. I'm saying, how does that affect the gift? How does that have to do with the gift that's given? That's the whole reason they're there.
So then, in the movie, they add the General.
Chiang.
No, the
Black
black
guy?
guy.
Google it.
Or go that. Harold
Colonel Weber.
Weber.
I don't think I understand your concern. Is the problem?
Yeah, I don't think I understand it.
Okay.
Oh, that's what it is. That was where I was going. So in the movie, Colonel Weber tells Luis, "We need to know why they are here." You answer that.
The gift. Here's my understanding of the movie. The aliens have to come down because in 3,000 years, humanity will save them somehow. We don't know how, that's fine.
Sure.
In order for the humanity to be saved, they have to be... Sorry, in order for the aliens to be saved, the humans have to have this ability to see time as a full circle.
Okay, and that's where I think you're wrong. In order for humanity to help them...
They have to be around.
They have to be around. They have to... maybe not even just around, but they have to work as one.
Right, and the way to do that is with the gift.
Yeah, so that's the purpose of the gift, is to get them to begin to work together.
So if somebody sees someone in the future, they can then communicate with them better in the present.
Yeah, small term.
That's
small scale.
That's the skill that he's giving her.
Microwave. Yes.
Again, that's what happened in the case of Luis, but in the grand case of the globe, because there was a party 18 months later, and you saw the flag, United States, China, all the nations, they were all together.
Yeah.
18 months is not enough time for the whole world to learn that language.
Right.
So in the case of Luis, yes, that's what helped them.
But I'm saying, like, even in like a small case, say in 1,000 years, there's another conflict. One person's like, "Oh yeah, we learned that one language." He learns it, she learns it, and then communicates with somebody in the future, and then they're able to diffuse a conflict again.
I think you're thinking way too far in the future of the world. Maybe he needs to make another movie.
Well, that's the whole freaking crux of the movie. Is in 3,000 years we need you, so here's this gift to help us.
That's not the crux of the movie. The crux of the movie is learning, one, how to communicate better interpersonally, and then two, not regretting your actions because they led to something bad.
Sure.
Those are the two themes of the movie.
Yeah, let's get into the story question. Maybe it'll help kind of resolve and clear up some things. So, whose story is it? What do they want? What do they ultimately need over what they want? And does the movie make us care? So, Dan, if you want to tackle that first.
The story is... What's her name?
Louise.
The story is hers. She wants... I think at first she just wants to kind of understand what's going on. In the end, she needs to break the rules and call China.
Okay, I'll give my take in it. Or Riley, go ahead, and then I'll give my take.
Yeah, it's the story is about Luis, and what she. It's hard to say what she wants because she doesn't ever say, like, I want the golden scroll. I want to learn the language. Yeah. She never say it. But I think that's also a point of the movie, because at the beginning of the movie, you see the loss of her child, and then now you see her walking to class, and you are projecting your own inferences on how she's feeling, because she's just walking through, and like she's on the phone with her mom, and her mom asks her, "How are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, you know me, just hanging in there." And we as the audience, we're projecting that she's not doing well because she lost her daughter. That's not what happened.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet, right?
Yep.
And so it's really hard to say what Luis needs in the movie.
Wants or needs?
Wants. Yeah, or sorry, it's really hard to say what she wants because it never really says it. But I think that's the point, is you're supposed to project your own. This is what the director is trying to do. He's trying to make you project what you think she is going through, and then show you that's not what it was at all.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'd say if we had to pick something, though, like just from straight watching it chronologically, I would say maybe she wants people to understand communication better, right? Because she's like, okay, you're going to go get this other guy and hire him? Well, I'll ask him what this means. And she kind of has a perception and a desire to be helping people communicate. She's willing to go do this thing, be a part of this project to go communicate with aliens. And so for me, that could be like a soft want. She wants to show people the intricacies of communication, and that there's more to it than you think.
Yeah.
And you have to be more subtle and more thoughtful.
I think that's true, yeah.
And then for me, what she needs is to accept, right? She needs to accept eventually that even if you know things or understand things, like you know the future, or you know the outcomes, you know the pain, you know that you're going to lose your husband, like she mentions to Ian in the movie. She's like, I know how I lost my husband, or I know why he left. That's okay. You need to come to acceptance with that. That's my thoughts right now. It might change. And I think the movie does make me care, for the most part, throughout.
Yeah, it makes me care as well, especially because I have kids of my own. It's really it hits home, that's for sure. It does a really good job at capturing. Sort of the blissful moments that can't be captured, you know, as a father and as a mother.
Dan, anything you want to say? Anything to open up from the questions, or is it still same spot?
I definitely care. I like Louise a lot as a character. I think she's dope. I think she's very well motivated, and she like wants the best throughout the whole thing, and that's why aliens can like actually get somewhere with her, is because she's like purely motivated. So I like her a ton. I think every moment she's on the screen, it's great. Another example of how to do a female protagonist and not have it be obnoxious.
Amen. Yeah.
Because you don't feel annoyed with her at all throughout the whole movie. You're like on her side 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys feel like there's anything else you want to share on the story or characters or morality of this movie? We touched a little bit about Ian. I mean, obviously we don't know the whole story, but just that it's just hard for me to see his character leave. Even though we don't get to see it, we kind of get to see the results of him leaving through the various flashbacks in the movie with the daughter, Hannah. But yeah, tough movie, hits in the feels for sure. And yeah, for me, it definitely didn't catch on to a lot of this the first movie, but just the importance of being interpersonal with people and seeing what unites us over what divides us, and yeah, being face to face with people, spending time with people. Like even this right now, I'm grateful that we could be in the same room together recording, rather than like Riley being on a computer at his house, or even Dan being on a computer at his house. Like this is great.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting that you guys had such different experiences watching the film, because I did not catch on any of those things at all. So it is cool. I think that's a sign of a good movie, though, is like,
yeah,
there's more than just one thing. Like you watch Shrek and it's a good movie, but it's like
there's one dimension.
Well, how much did you really think about that movie when you were watching it?
Yeah.
Well, I was talking today in church to a Sunday school class, or maybe people after, about when we reviewed Star Wars.
Yeah.
1977. And it's just interesting, if you just take that movie and you don't take any of the other movies or books or other lore, and you just are receiving what they're giving you in that movie, to me, and we discussed this, anyone could be a Jedi. Because everything in there implies that it's all about having the desire and discipline and allowing it into your life rather than being born with it. Because that only comes from prequels.
Yeah.
And really doesn't come from the sequels at all, like the 5 and 6. And so it's, yeah, being able to take something different, or like think about a movie each time you watch it and pull something different from it, or understand it differently,
yeah,
receive something different, is great.
Yeah. Well, I think I only had one more thing that I wanted to ask you guys, and this is the reason I continually think about this movie. Whenever I listen to the song, like, this is the question that comes up in my mind, and it's the question at the end. And I just want to hear what your guys' answers are. If you could see your life from beginning to end, would you change anything?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a freaking nerd.
Yeah,
and that's where maybe that's why I like the movie so much, is because that's where my philosophy differs. I've done a lot of dumb things in my life, but I wouldn't change it.
I think you being married and having 2 kids definitely makes you feel like you like have made it, though, whereas Bo and I are still at the point where we haven't got there yet, And so I think it's hard to still feel like, at least that's mine. It's like, I'm like, if I could go back and change things, I'd change a lot because I wasted a ton of time. And I think I made a lot of mistakes that were pretty crucial. And if I could go back and change them, I would. But I'm grateful now that I have the opportunity to steer the ship correctly. But could I have steered my ship better my whole life? Yeah, and I wish I could have.
Yeah, because here's where my thoughts are, Riley. Right, we're agents to act and not be acted upon, right? So it's not like, not all suffering and experiences on Earth are fate. Some of them happen because we chose them.
Yeah.
They didn't have to happen. I could have a life where I chose some different things and still got to the same place I need to be, that God wants me to be, without going through those things. Now, having said that, some of those things, yeah, like looking back now, I would like to change, but I can't. So there has to be some amount of acceptance, grace, forgiveness, moving on, so that I don't live like Ian, right? So I don't live in a place where I'm going to walk away from something beautiful because of my own, I mean, not to judge him harshly because we don't know the whole story, but because of my own, perception or my own understanding or my own feelings, right? There has to be some, so I see both sides. I see the side of like, yeah, it's definitely made me who I am, but I don't believe in like life is 100% a fate that's already from A to Z. It's always supposed to be that way. No, like some things that happen to us are because we chose them. They don't need to happen. We can learn another way. There's so many times in my life. I mean, look at things I haven't done. I've never drank a drip of alcohol in my life. Does that mean if I don't do it in this life, I'm never going to learn and understand what it's like to have to not do it or et cetera, right? We get very deep into this. Like, no, I don't think so. I think avoiding that is a benefit to my life, and I don't need to do it and experience it to say like,
right,
yeah, this is better.
Yeah, I mean, like we all have regrets, right? and like that's an important part of being a person, is having a regret and trying to make a difference. But I think what the movie is trying to do is saying that, like, I don't know, maybe this is the way I interpret it, but as you get closer to your deathbed, the answer to that question should be an absolute no. That I've done everything that, like, I could have done in my life. I made a lot of mistakes. I broke hearts. I lost people. My actions hurt people. But now that I'm sitting here on my deathbed, I'm okay with all those things.
That's how it should be. I agree. Yeah, yes. I agree with it's how it should be. And I think that's why it's important to act today, now.
Right.
That you right the wrongs.
Amen.
Yeah.
But if I look back and I say I wouldn't change anything, I can't do that.
Well,
hopefully when I'm dead, I can say, you know what? I made mistakes, but I made up for them. And I'm grateful I did.
Well, not even made up for them. For me, it's like I made mistakes, but there's someone who made it right.
Yeah.
Right? There's someone that, even though it wasn't fair, he's going to give a good reward to everyone.
Everything that is unjust is just. Yeah. And I mean, if I was in, I guess last one for me, if you guys were in the position of Luis, you met this person, you knew that it would lead to a marriage, the failure of a marriage, and the death of a child, would you still do it?
Yeah, that's a tougher one.
That definitely is tough.
That's a tougher one.
And me being a father who's experienced it is 100% yes. It has, like, to me, the answer has to be yes.
Yeah. I mean, I look at people that have gone through similar situations and like they don't regret their kids. They love their kids. They want to have their kids, right? They would never want to take that back. And so, but yeah, to say, like, looking forward into the future, would I choose that? I mean, it would be tough, but I would definitely want to be with someone, and I would want to have a kid with, I'd want to raise my own child as long as I could.
Yeah.
While they were alive.
I'm less certain about that. I really am. The problem is, though, is that, and this is where the movie doesn't really talk about it much, where I wanted it to talk more about, like, what does this future ability actually do? What does it consist of? Because it kind of just seems like that's her future and she doesn't really have a choice in it. where it's like you're going to get married to him, and no matter what you do, this is what's going to happen. So like
Right.
you're kind of just on the tracks and you're going.
And that's where the book does a better job of explaining it.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the storybook, right? Luis already knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
She already knows that skiing is going to be fun. She already knows that, like, having a daughter is going to be a good experience. But just because you remember something as being good doesn't mean that it's not the same as experiencing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's- I think-
so she chooses to experience the good despite knowing the very bad.
Yeah. And our difference in response is another example of that you've had that experience, so you can clearly say yes.
Right. Yeah.
Where I have never had that experience.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
I can hear about it.
Yeah.
I can pretend. I can think, but I've never had it.
Yeah.
How would I know?
Yeah.
All right.
Which is why I'm dating your sister-in-law.
Well, just remember what to say when she says, "Do you want to have a baby?
Yeah.
Do you want to make a baby?"
I say, heck yes, I do.
All right. Well, let's round out our scores for this movie, Arrival, 2016.
You give it, Riley.
I think I give it a 9.
All right.
9 point something. 9.2.
No.
9.3.
There's there's 9 or 9.5. There's no 9.
9.4. It's a 9.4.
He's off the show. He's never invited back.
And in terms of sci-fi movies, it's a 10 for me. This is my favorite sci-fi movie.
Wow.
Oh, it's your number one sci-fi movie. We'll leave it at that.
Better than Interstellar?
Score is
Yeah, I like just because it hits more.
Really?
Like the message actually hits closer to
Dang.
home with me.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because the message of Interstellar is: would you leave your kids to go save humanity?
You need to go listen to our Interstellar episode if that's what your take is.
Well, would you sacrifice a relationship with your children to do that?
Yeah.
Right. But in this movie, it's like, would you have a relationship with your wife and your kids despite knowing it ends?
Right. It's kind of inverse.
It's a little inverse. So it just hits closer to home for me. That's why I like it more than Interstellar. I still give Interstellar like a 9.5, maybe even a 10. But personally, I like this
What
one
did
more.
we give it? 9.
I gave it a 9.5.
Yeah, I think we both.
I give it a 9.5.
Okay, Dan. How about you for this?
I give this movie probably a 7.5. I think it has really cool concepts. I don't think it hits in the same way that it hits you guys. I think it's a good movie. I enjoyed watching it, but I don't really want to watch it again. And I think that it doesn't really hit on the themes of the movie that I wanted to. But I liked it. I thought it was good. Didn't hate it, but I don't think I'd want to watch it again.
I'm going to fall an 8 on this. I think, 4-star movie out of 5. I think that's right where I fall for. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think it's really well made. I think, there's definitely a ton to dig into thematically and story-wise. I could see myself in the right situation revisiting it, actually. Watching it with close ones are different things, but maybe not like a once-a-year movie. But I definitely recommend it. If you like sci-fi, or you like any of Denis' work, definitely recommend seeing this movie. All right. Well,
Maybe I could be convinced to watch it again for a third time with different expectations again.
Maybe after you have kids.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch it after having kids. Because the whole time I was trying to figure out, I was not paying attention at all to the kid part or to the communication part. I was just trying to figure out what the fetch the alien was trying to do.
And that's the C plot of the movie.
That's the reason to talk about the other things.
Yeah.
I was focused on the alien because it's an alien movie. How stupid of me,
Yeah, that's silly, dude. You were wondering why that little guy burst out of that lady's chest and running around the ship instead of thinking about why Sigourney Weaver doesn't have good commanding skills.
True.
Has to learn them. All right,
I'm a
boys.
7.5. You're an 8. You're a 9.
Yeah.
I'd say a 9.5.
9.5.
Oh, 9.5.
Yeah.
Wow, we're going swinging. That's toe to toe with Interstellar. I like it. All right. Well, that's that's a wrap for this episode of Real Legends Podcast. If you haven't already, go check us out on Real Legends Movie Podcast on YouTube and real.legends.pod on Instagram. Please share your takes on what you think of the movie. We'd love to read them live on the show, talk about them. And anything you do to interact with us online helps grow the show. So please share this with others that love movies and love talking about storytelling.
I'd love it if Riley came again.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see Riley back, comment or message Riley in any way possible. YouTube,
here's his
Spotify,
address.
Instagram. Yeah. Mail him until he comes back on the show. Just like the Harry Potter letters that won't stop. Just shove them through the cracks.
You're going to have to mail me. I don't have socials anymore, so.
Is that right? All right, I like it. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the cinema concession stand.
Catch you on the flippity flop. That's my tagline.
Dan's catchphrase.
If you have one, you can.
I don't know what you said on the first one.
Did I say something?
I don't know.
You throw a catchphrase in there.
We're all gonna be dead soon, so.
Well, that's a terrible one.
Wow.
All right.